Hey guys, welcome back. This is Sierra, your host with Boss and Biz and Beauty Podcast. This podcast is for all the mom bosses, boss babes, entrepreneurs, and all of those creatives out there in the industry. So I have my girl Natalia, my nail girl. That's what we're doing today.
Vita Bella.
Yes, so Vita Bella is my of course, nail tech, but she's also a very great long-term friend. Like, we go way back, way back. So I'm so happy to have her on here. I'm very proud of her. I feel like it's been great just coming home and just having a familiar face and just, being able to share similar careers where we can relate and come and talk to. And, we're both moms. So, we really be having our little kiki moments. So we're going to get these claws together and we're going to get to know her, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
So I'm Natalia. I'm the owner of Vita Bella. I am a nail artist and a lash artist, soon to be licensed esthetician and manicurist in the state of Texas. So be on the lookout for that.
We love that. What we with skincare girlies, hey, y'all come hit my girl up, okay? So
that's right.
Yes. So first off, love, I'm so happy that you are here because I know that you've been doing your business for a little bit. I know I was in Vegas for a while, and
you were.
It was just, really, I would see your work and just kind of seeing you doing your thing, because you originally started off doing lashes first, right, before you got into nails?
Yeah, so I started lashing in 2017.
Okay.
And then I took a small hiatus around the time I found out I was pregnant with my first son.
Right.
I had moved out of the state of Texas, and then I came back. So it was just kind of, I was just all over the place for a little bit.
Right.
So,
Which could be hard, especially because, you're getting into something, but, as we know, lives, so we have to kind of let the life do its life and see where life is going to take us.
That's
so
right.
How was that for you, between that transition between kind of moving a little bit back and forth, you're, new time mommy? How was that experience for you starting a business?
Well, I feel like it was a little hard for me because when I did move, I had already established my clientele here in Houston. So just to leave and then just, to come back, just a lot of the uncertainty of everything going on at the time, it was a little hard. And then, my emotions were all over the place being a first-time mom,
right? My
first pregnancy. It was just a lot. And at one point, I thought about not coming back. I was almost sure that I wasn't going to, come back into the beauty industry. And, it was really hard because I had even, I had my family friends who would ask me to, at the time I only did lashes, but they would ask me, to do their lashes. And I was just so unmotivated by it that I would even tell them, no, I don't want to. So, it was just really hard to kind of find my way back into it.
Yeah.
And it's actually really funny because the person who actually brought me back was my sister-in-law, Jasmine.
Aww.
So, yeah.
Shout out to Jasmine.
Shout out to Jazz. But, yeah, she really put me back on. She came to visit me when I was in San Antonio 2 years ago. And she was like, I want you to do my lashes. And when I tell you I tried so hard to convince this girl, I was like, no, girl, I'm going to take so long. I'm probably not even good at it anymore. She's like, no, you're going to do my lashes. I don't care how long it takes. You're going to do my lashes.
Yeah.
And for a minute there, she had a little bit of beef with my other sister, Rona. She was like, oh, bitch, you didn't do my lashes. So, but yeah, she was the one that really kind of brought me back. And that's kind of when I was like, okay, yeah, I could definitely get back into this. And at the time, I had already started building my nail clientele in San Antonio. So I was already kind of dabbling in it, but, it wasn't anything
right. You were kind of just in the up and down.
Yeah, I was kind of in the building phase.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good. I do feel when you're kind of going through that, especially just being a mom and you're having your kids, you're starting a family, it is a lot of adjusting, you're getting used to being a mom, you getting that sleep routine down with the baby.
Yeah, girl. Look.
So it's
a struggle.
Lot. Yeah,
it's a struggle.
It is. And I feel I've gone through it too. And I remember around the time where I kind of took a pause I think it took one good haircut from a guy friend that was like, I need my haircut. And I remember that moment being like, dang, like I thought like it felt good,
Yeah,
it just like, it was just like I had to kind of get out my comfort zone a little bit, but it's shout out to those people that get us out of our comfort zones. Like sometimes we need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm telling you, it really took a lot for me to come back to lashing, just because I don't know, like if this has, I mean, I'm sure it happens to a lot of people in the beauty industry. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me or you, but from the time that I had left lashing to the time that I had gotten back, it just felt like I don't know, like I just developed kind of like an aversion to it. It's like I don't want to do this. Like it's not even that like I hated it. It was just like
it just wasn't giving.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it. It was just like that type of thing. It wasn't even like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it was kind of an aversion to me. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't really feel like fooling around with this. So
and I think too, I think that maybe between all the other things you may have been doing, it just maybe wasn't a big priority too. Like that's always the
true,
thing.
because around the time that everything happened, like around the time I had my first son, it was, he was born in 2019, so he was a COVID baby. He was, it was like 2020 when we all went into quarantine and just kind of adjusting to that.
Yeah.
And then right around at the time quarantine was lifted, we moved cities. So, I was transitioning from being a working mom to now being like a stay-at-home mom and moving to a new city away from my family. It was just a lot.
Yeah, no, that is a lot. I think I can definitely attest to that too, moving to Vegas a few times. Because we also moved, I moved from Houston to Vegas right when the shutdown kind of started. So, but we drove.
Yeah, girl, same. We was driving.
Like, whoa. So, that was a lot too. And I just had Serenity. She had only been, she was technically a COVID baby too. Yeah. So, because I gave birth to her November, everything kind of shut down around March. So she was only like not even 6 months yet. I was still breastfeeding.
Yeah, we were pregnant together.
Yeah, we were.
So I remember that.
I remember that now too. I was just like, wait, yeah, you're right, girl.
Yeah, girl, we were pregnant together.
We were. Yeah. Oh, I love this.
I know.
It is really nice to have like just friends that can understand the business side of it, but then also be able to share those personal things.
Yeah.
How has it been when, now that you're kind of getting back into it, how has that been going for you since you moved back?
Well, I feel like for me, I feel like I've talked about this with you already, but I feel like for me, it was really kind of hard in the beginning. It was really sad for me because I left San Antonio kind of on a whim. It was really quick that I had gotten out of there. And mind you, like I had already built my clientele, I was like pretty booked and busy. And I really didn't even get the chance to like tell my clients goodbye. By the time I was telling them I was leaving, it was literally from the moment we left San Antonio, we vacated that city within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, it was like super quick that we moved. So it was kind of like a forced goodbye, so that was a little hard.
Yeah. No, that's very
so
relatable.
It was just really bittersweet, I was like, damn, like, my life just changed so quickly all at once. I left Houston 3 years ago. I only had my first son, and now I'm coming back. I have another baby. I have a little toddler, so just it was a lot. But I feel like now I'm finally at a place where I'm comfortable and I'm ready to put myself out there. And I'm just kind of opening that side of myself up here now, because I'm finally like, I guess not necessarily like in routine because I'm in school, and that'll be over soon. That'll be over soon. But like I'm finally at a place where I'm like, okay, like I'm a little bit more established. I'm feeling better.
Yeah, and
I'm in a better mental space, because I feel like that is a really big. You have to be like mentally prepared take on clientele and, you know, kind of get back in that grind mode.
Right. It's like, it's a muscle you got to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know that was one of the things I think after, I think my first appointment, seeing you and like, you know, coming back, you know, we got to catch up a lot, which was really nice. And that was the thing. I felt like you were picking my brain on certain things and I was just giving you.
Yeah, you know, I'm telling you, like when I first got back to Houston, I was not in the headspace. You know, I feel like I had just gone through a breakup, you know, like an unrequited breakup. So I was just like, what is going on? Is this normal the way that I'm feeling? Because, you know, it's one thing to be like an employee, but then it's also one thing to be like a business owner, you know, because you pour so much of yourself into it. And, you know, of course, like doing nails or even lashes or any beauty service, you really invest your time with your relationships and you build relationships essentially. Because mind you, I am a stay-at-home mom. So, you know, like my only adult interactions were with my clients, you know, most of the time.
Aww.
So,
yeah, I feel like, I definitely could relate to that. Even when I was in Vegas, like I think the last year before I moved out of Vegas is when I kind of started to take time. And that was after, you know, talking to my therapist and was like, what do you do to decompress? Like, what do you do? Like, and I was like noticing that, dang, like I'm kind of not doing too much for myself, it sounds like.
Because, you know, it's hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a business owner because you have to wear so many hats all the time. And
that part,
you know, honestly, like I said, most of my adult interactions were with my clients because, you know, once my clients were gone, it's like, okay, mommy mode, I gotta make dinner. Right. I have to do bath time, appointments, this, that, the other. So, you know, it can be really hard to pencil in, like, you know, seeing your friends or because, you know, your friends also have their own life and their own things going on. So exactly, it's kind of a struggle, but you make it work.
Yeah. So like speaking of like friends, like are most of your friends 9-to-5ers, or are there certain friends that are doing what you're doing, being their own boss?
Yeah, so I do have, you know, my regular 9-to-5 friends, you know, my corporate baddies, but then I do have like a few friends, you know, like I have you, and then I have my other friend. She makes clay polymer jewelry. Ooh. So that's Crafts by Curl. Okay. Miss Haley. Yes. So, you know, she's definitely someone that can also relate to, you know, being a small business owner. Yeah. And being a creative.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like I asked that because, you know, I know for me with moving to Vegas, I obviously left with no friends, no family. And I feel like I'm kind of the first entrepreneur on the side of the family. Same. And so I feel like not a lot of people understand. And it's like, even like the friends that I was with, because my circle is very small, you guys. So I do feel like that could be a little misled from people who don't understand the side of business. They think that, oh, you're too busy for me, which we are, but not for you. It's just like, you know, we gotta just get you at the right time. That's all. So people being able to understand that could be a little challenging, I feel like, in the beginning, especially because there's a certain mindset, there's a certain sacrifice that we're having to make to obviously show up for our clients, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. We're moms, we're wives, we're like so many roles, you guys. We're literally being like stretched thin. Yeah,
literally. And when it's not one thing, it's another. Yeah, it's like you play a Russian roulette.
It really is.
You know, what's next? What's on the menu?
Right. So, I didn't get to ask you. So, when you came up with your name, what inspired that?
So, when I came up with my name, I had just taken my lash course. And of course, you know, at the time, this was, I think, like back when maybe the eyelash industry was kind of like on its come up. Yeah. You know, this is like 2017.
Yeah, that's literally around the time.
So, you know, at the time, the lady that had done the course was like, okay, like, you know, you need to come up with a page name. You need to establish yourself, like get an LLC, copyright it, whatever. Yeah. So I was just like, I mean, I don't know. Because I don't know. I guess I never did it with the intention of like, oh, I'm gonna make this my business. Yeah. Or, I don't know. Like,
that makes sense.
I feel like I was just kind of aimlessly.
Yeah. Like it's like you knew you wanted to do, but then you kind of got introduced to like the actual business side of it.
I mean, mind you, I had never been exposed to doing any of that. And so, anyway, so at the time I was just like, I don't really know. So my biggest supporter and my biggest investor, my husband, I asked him, I was like, what should I name my page? And so of course he's like, oh, not these lashes, or, just some stuff like that. I was like, that is so lame. And so I was literally like, picking his brain. I was like, what should I name it? He was like, oh, do this, oh, do that. And I was just like, no, that's just corny. That's corny. No. And so I pulled up like it's like a name combiner, like on the internet.
I did that too.
And I was like, okay, let me put my name. And at the time, I was just like, okay, let me put Victor's name. Yeah. So it generated like Vita, but at the time it was VITA. And I was like, what if I throw in another I? Because my husband, his nickname is Vic, but it's VIICK. So I was like, VIITA.
Let me find out you didn't put your husband in your business name.
And so, at the time when I first started, it was Vita Lashes. Okay. But then, once I started adding, more things, I was like, oh, Vita Bella.
Yeah.
Like beauty.
Aww,
yeah, so
I love that.
Yeah, so that's the name.
Okay, I love that because I feel like I'd like to know how people find their names because in any business, as as everybody knows who has a business, it's like getting that name figured out is like the struggle, but it's like I have noticed it just comes to you.
Sometimes you change it.
Yeah,
sometimes you start off with one name and then you transition.
Exactly.
Like me, like Vita Lashes, Vita Bella.
Yeah, and which I feel like is perfectly fine too. I feel like even us as people, we're changing, right? So it's just like. I think a lot of people, they do think like, oh, I need to stick with this or, whatever the case may be.
You
but
top coat this?
Yes.
Okay.
But we should be able to, do what we feel we need to do,
Yeah.
But I think it is a very I think when it comes to like when we're trying to switch things up, right, that we are just trying to I guess just get a sense of like what the vision that we're kind of going for. When it came to you doing your, just kind of getting everything going, like what was the most challenging part of it all? Was it just kind of like navigating on getting back into everything?
Honestly, it's still something that I struggle with, I feel. And I feel like I told you in the beginning too, I feel like for me, my biggest struggle has always just been like believing in myself because mind you, I used to be a corporate baddie, like I used to be, a blue collar girl.
Yeah.
And so I have, if I needed to, I could go back into, quote unquote the real world.
Yeah.
And make a decent living. But I think one thing I struggle with is feeling like this is a career because I feel like, I don't know about you growing up, like in like a Black household and Latinos, I feel like we share very similar culture standards, but I feel like I've always kind of looked at this like, this isn't a real job. Yeah. Like this is just like, this is just like whatever. It's not real. So I think the biggest thing for me has just been believing in myself and like putting myself out there because I just feel like maybe this isn't a career that you would look up to somebody and be like, oh my God, like she's a nail tech, you know?
And I think it's like you have, especially just being the first entrepreneur, it's just like you kind of have to essentially kind of prove yourself a little bit.
And
it's
mind you, like I'm first gen Latina. I'm the first small business owner in my family. So, I feel like I just need to start believing in myself a little bit more and putting myself out there because, it's like you said, if I don't tell people what I do, how are they going to know what I do?
So. Yeah, we got to post the content.
Yeah. For
Post the
sure.
content.
For sure.
Well, that I think that is good. I think when it comes to your what you do with nails, and I'm gonna like take a look up there just because you know,
my God, yeah,
the girl is so talented with her nail art, y'all. Like I'm over here plain Janing it right now, but girlfriend be getting into it with these like nail designs.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a video on somewhere in this video so you guys can take a look at it. But have you always kind of been like an artist? Because
you know, people ask me that all the time, and to be honest, I mean, I've painted a few times like on a canvas, but it was just like at a paint and sip type thing, you know. So I don't think I've ever really sat down to do any type of artistry outside of this. But I will say that growing up, I do feel that I was more inclined to do the arts. But, you know, growing up, you know, middle class, it was kind of hard to be able to work in those spaces just because, you know, like growing up, it's like, oh, we don't have the money or whatever.
Right.
So, you know, I never really gave it the attention it might have needed just because I was like, oh, well, you know, whatever. Like, there are other things I can move on to. So, yeah.
So, as far as, you know, just what it's, between nails, between, the lashes, like what inspires you to do what it is that you do? Like, is it just a certain kind of signature that you kind of want people to are essentially kind of like know about, or like what you want to be known for when it comes to like nails? Is it just like the art of creating? Like, what inspires you to do like your nail arts and stuff?
Honestly, for me, it's just the progress, like the journey, you know. I just like, I mean, I guess I like getting creative. I like being able to just sit here and decompress and either do like a set of nails, a set of press-ons, a character, a general theme, you know. It's just, I don't know, for me it's just the process.
I can see that. I think sometimes I mean, because most of us, I mean, we should love what we do, right? No.
No, literally.
And so I do think that's really good, that, you know, when it comes to what we do, it's just that it is the process. I mean, when we're creating or we're putting our visions together, it is a process of how we have to go about that. And so when it comes to you coming up with your nail designs, do they just come to you? Do you usually get inspired by certain artists, or?
For the most part, I follow these nail art classes that I actually ran into while I was in San Antonio. And it's by a nail artist, Nails by Dev. She does them free on her TikTok. So I really just follow her. But, you know, there have been times like where I've collaborated with other girls and we like set a general theme. And, you know, honestly, like just, you know, just searching up Pinterest or searching up different types of, you know, like in around those themes, I can just kind of like, you know, get my wheels turning and be like, oh, I want this, but in this color, I want these components. Or, you know,
so it sounds like you got a little nail community that you guys can do some fun stuff. I love that. For sure. So when it comes to 2025, what are we looking forward to this year?
I'm looking forward to graduating, passing my state board, adding facials to my menu, and, you know, maybe establishing some a little bit more clientele, you know. I'm not being, we can always use a little bit more, you know.
There can never be I mean, there could be too many, like, yes, let me
there
stop
could
lying.
Be, for sure.
Because I feel like I'm at the point like, help.
Yes.
Okay.
But, you know, just getting a new set of clientele here, which I feel like I've already gotten a few girls.
So what is like your ideal clientele? Like, what are you noticing from your clientele?
I feel like that's kind of a tough question because I think as artists, you do want, you know, a certain type of clientele, or it's, you know, and I think that it's good for people to be that way, right? Because, you know, it's one thing for people to come and be like, oh, I want a cartoon nail. Yeah. Versus like, oh, I just want like a French tip. And like, no shade to the French tip girlies or to like, you know,
the simple girls like me.
The single color girlies. But
which I'm actually going on my comfort zone again.
Yes.
Because I'm usually
she's actually
like
a neutral girly.
Very neutral.
You know, she's my French tip girly. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's been very hard for me in regards to like my nail, because nobody's gonna come in here getting very that. Foreign few people are gonna come in here getting that, you know.
That's true.
So I mean, I don't know, I don't knock my clients for it, because
again,
you know, it's not for everybody.
Right.
But I guess it's just more of like my vibe.
So would you like to do more nail arts on people who want that?
I feel like I would.
Okay, so so it sounded like if you were all about nails, details, all the things, hit your girl up, okay? She needs the work, okay?
I mean, I would love to, but
no, that makes sense. Maybe once wedding season is not around, I'll have to come in here and let you go to work on me and really be out my comfort zone. I'm like, okay, guys, here we are. Right, but I know it's gonna look so good. Yeah. So I think that, girl, yes, we're gonna have to make that work.
Yeah.
Question: what is a typical day in the life of Vida Bella?
So I am primarily a stay-at-home working mom.
Gotcha.
So, well, right now I'm in school, so I wake up early, sometimes get my boys ready. For the most part, my husband does that. He takes them to school, so I get ready, I go to school, leave school, go pick my babies up, come home, you know,
mommy mode,
lunch, dinner, homework, change your clothes, girl, let's connect. Do you want to play a game?
I need to breathe.
Yes.
I need to sit down. I need a nap.
Yes. So, you know, and then I have to do that for myself too. Like, I need to eat my dinner. I need to, you know, go through my list of, you know, like, what appointments need to be made, what's going on tomorrow, what's, you know, because these freaking kids in school, it's, you know, red, white, and blue week. It's,
girl,
you know,
it's just a lot.
Christmas week, wear a Santa hat, do this, do that. And then to top it off, I'm homeroom mom for my oldest.
Gotcha.
So, you know, sometimes like around the holidays, I gotta make goodie bags. I gotta, you know, communicate with his teachers.
She's a teacher mommy.
You know, I'm just very busy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it, which, you know, I can relate to.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
And I think I always like to highlight that, because when it comes to our clients, you know, obviously they come to us for our work, but it is like, you know, we're human too. You know, we got lives, we got kids, you know, and so I think I want to shed more light on when it comes to like how, you know, people show up, like how you show up when you're posting your content, when you're doing your appointments. And I want people to know when it comes to getting a service or on just, you know, we just want to be, you know, we're human too. You know, we are business people.
And my clients will tell you, I don't look like this ever. My clients come and see me, and I'm sure they're watching this and they're like, who is that? Who's that? Who's that girl? I don't know her. So,
oh my God, that is so funny.
You know, so it's just like, you know, but I think at the end of the day, regardless, I uphold a certain level of customer service.
Right.
Which doesn't change even when I'm not looking this beautiful.
Yeah. So. I mean, girl, you're beautiful with or without makeup.
Thank
seriously.
You. And I'm missing, you know, my 4 eyes.
Yeah.
I usually have
you usually do have glasses on.
I usually wear glasses.
Yeah, so. I feel like whenever, because she was kind of getting ready, I was like, girl, I'm going to catch up on some calls. Take your time.
Yeah.
And she came and I was like, oh my God.
Who's that?
No, you look so good.
Yeah, thank you.
And I feel like it's I love that we are kind of having this conversation because we've known each other for a long time. And I do feel like, I mean, you
like more than 10 years.
Girl, like it's been
it's
been some time. Yeah. So I love that we can relate on these things, but also just seeing your growth. I mean, I know you've seen mine.
Oh my gosh, I remember when you were in Cosmo School.
Yeah.
You were like 20 months pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh.
Y'all, I was
your first baby.
Girl, yes. Yeah. I was literally, I ended up doing my state board 2 weeks before I gave birth to him.
Yes.
So, and then I was thugging out 12 hours to try to finish school before they start charging my ass.
Yeah.
Because I was working and all those things, and then I was like, oh shit, like I need to like catch up before I have to start paying, because there's a certain amount of hours before they start like taxing you, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really thugging it out, and I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud of you too.
You should be. Yeah, you should be. I mean, we've both come a really long way.
Girl. And I'm just, it's only going up, y'all. Okay, so don't think this is it. No. This is just the beginning. Okay, because I haven't even made a year here yet.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm still
I feel
here.
like we both literally moved at the same. I don't know. I feel like for the last few years, you and I kind of like are pretty much on track with like life events.
No, for real.
You know, like I feel like
sure.
we both. I mean, we were both pregnant at one point, like a few months off of each other. Then we moved. We came back.
Girl,
all within like the same
got
time
married,
frame, girl.
going through the shit.
We a little aligned.
Girl,
you know what I'm
we
saying?
really
So
are.
yeah.
I think. Let me make sure we still recording, y'all. She ain't never did this. Okay. Hey, it's a one-woman show over here.
Not the Apple acting up today.
I have to make sure, guys, because this is good. I want y'all to make sure y'all are getting all the deets, okay?
That's right.
With your businesses, with Lash, with everything, do you have a favorite, or do you like kind of everything kind of equally?
I get a lot of people ask me this question, and I feel like ever since I did jump back in, I started with lashes. So for a minute, I was like just riding that high. You know, I was like, ooh, I love it.
Which your lashes look so good. Like I've been like staring at them. I'm like,
this
oh.
is Leo's lashes in Baytown, Texas.
I love that. They look good.
Thank you.
I feel like for me, you're gonna have to maybe like introduce me because I've never gotten lash extensions. But I feel like I'm a half wing kind of girl.
You're definitely a cat eye girl.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like I want it natural, but I want to be able to still wake up and be like, I woke up like this, like kind of look. But yeah, no, these lashes look good on you.
Thank you. Leo's Lash. Love you, Rachel. Love you down, girl.
Okay, well, yeah, we're gonna have to make sure to put them down in the comments.
Yep.
But yeah, what do you think? What is your favorite?
I think right now, I've been loving the artistry on the nail side.
Okay,
yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I could tell. I feel like because I remember there's been a couple many nights because I'm usually up too, and I'm like, well, look, and I think you're like posting late on what you did,
like doing little nails.
Yes, and I feel like, girl, wait, can you like let's bring her down because y'all
the main attraction down.
Girl,
this is board number 1.
Okay, let's take a good little look at this.
This is board number 2.
Like, it's the artistry for me.
Yeah, these
are so good.
My second board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you already started on the second one.
Girl, already.
Oh, these are y'all. Come get one of these. Okay, come get you one of these. Yeah, these are so good.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you.
I feel like whenever you do get that remember I sent you that little hat with all the like the nails on it, girl. I feel like you need to. Yes. I may just have to like.
You know what?
Pay you to do that.
I really do because I feel like I'm gonna for sure be done with this board. Probably by the summertime.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a dope way to like make it, even if like make the hat for you and rock that shit, and they're gonna be like, because you're gonna just turn heads. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
Well, you know, like I already kind of did something like that. I don't know if you saw this off of topic, but like on TikTok, you know, those like customizable like tracksuits where you get like the letters and you like iron them on.
Yeah,
I made one with my friend Haley. Okay, and I made a Vita Bella one. So I have like Vita Bella on the back and like, you know, little patches, you know, that go with my vibe. I'm gonna have to check
that one out. So, okay, so we like the nail artistry.
I'm a big DIY girly. So.
I am too. Mm-hmm. I feel like one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be resourceful and we gonna improvise around here, okay?
That's right.
We gonna make something look like $100 for $20.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so with all the things, like what is your biggest advice for someone that is trying to either join lashes, nails, or just doing just being an entrepreneur, like starting their own business?
For sure, knowing that investing in yourself is never a bad thing.
It's a constant thing, actually.
Yeah, it's constant. Yeah, because you know, like it's not just like, oh, I took this like lash class, right? You know, and then you're good. Because I mean, any beauty professional that's been in this industry for more than I want to say even 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the industry has evolved.
Yeah, and
even
it's gonna keep
from
doing
like
it.
2 years ago, a year ago, you know, there are constant new trends, constant new tools, new methods.
Yes.
So it's a big investment, and you really have to be open-minded.
Very. That's good.
Because, you know, sometimes people feel like, oh, I took this class and, you know, I know what I'm doing. Like, I don't need help. Like, I don't need
I'm just here because I need my continuous education
hours.
Right.
So, you know, it's really just about that believing in yourself. Yeah. I know it's kind of hypocritical to say, but
it really is.
Yeah, you know, because again, like I've been in this 6 years now, and I'm telling you, like when I first started, obviously I was very, you know, like, oh my God, I love this, I can do this, and then I took a hiatus and I was like, man, F this, I don't want to do this anymore, you know. But then, you know, I feel like that's with any career. Like, even if you love something that you do, you're going to have days where you're like, oh, like, you know, this is just like, is this what I want to do? Is this really for me?
Especially during them slow moments. We be rethinking our whole career choices.
Yeah. So.
And like, so actually that's a good question to ask as well. Like, what do you do? What do you do when things are slow?
I really try not to get unmotivated. Just because, I mean, again, I feel like I can be very understanding. I mean, you know, right now the economy that we're living in, it's crazy. Yeah, it is. You know, like the prices of like our everyday things. Yeah. You know, like, and again, it's something you should consider because like the beauty industry is, I mean, it's always going to be around, right? Because everybody always loves to get their hair done, their lashes done, facials, nails, this, that, and the other. But it's a luxury. It is. No, it's a luxury. It's not
let them know what it is.
It's not a necessity, but it's a luxury. It is. You know, so you just have to remind yourself of that. Obviously, like, you know, put some rainy day coins aside. Okay. You know, learn some.
Because y'all not questioning Louis and Apple.
That's
and y'all ain't
nobody pocket checking Gucci.
Y'all making sure y'all got them payment plans ready.
That's right. Like, we need to start taking a firm. No, I'm kidding.
That is so funny.
But yeah, but then also to touch on another thing, like staying, like, you know, for starting out is don't compare yourself because comparison is a thief of joy, which I have been guilty of.
Yes.
But you know, like it's really easy to see somebody in the industry and be like, oh my God, like she's doing so much better than me. Right. He's doing so much better than me. She's so good at this. He's so good at that because you don't know what it's costing them to be where they are at. Girl. And not everything that glitters is gold.
Right.
And, you know, you just got to keep that little, you know, envious eye in check. Because,
absolutely.
You know, because you might be like, I want that. But, like, you know, are you really ready to meet those demands of those situations?
Come on, you better preach, sis. You better preach. You better let them know. It's just, but no, that is so true, and I'm glad that you bring that up because you don't really know what people are going through. Like, I mean, you probably do know if they're sharing that, but it's like if you're showing up
on social media, people just post. I mean, who would want to post like I'm having a shit day,
right?
You know, like people are gonna be like, obviously, people are gonna be like, oh my God, like.
Right.
Babe, are you okay? Like, what do you need? But, you know, people post the good things. And I think, you know, that's why I say it's a thief of joy because it's like, you know, from the moment I started this, like, I look at this and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. Look at my progress. Look at how far I've come. Yeah. But if I sat here and I nitpicked every single thing, like, oh, this was not good. This was bad. I don't like this. I don't like that. This doesn't look like Nails by Devs. This doesn't look like Tino Vo's. It's like, you know, like you really have to define what it is that you want.
Yeah, I feel like that is so true. And I think, of course, you know, we want to be the best, right? Yeah. But I feel like we need to look at that as more inspiration. I think we need to look at it as like, how can I grow or how can I learn? Yeah. And not that like, it's like, oh, they're doing that. I'm like, well, you know, let's collaborate, like let's talk about it, like, and I think that's been a big topic in most of my podcasts so far is community over competition. It's like coming together, showing each other things, teaching each other things,
and that just goes back to networking too, because again, like one thing I will say, there's another really great artist that does like classes. It's Ball Pit Nails. Love her, she's so cool. But you know, I really think that it's important to just, you know, just be willing to allow people to get to know you. Because, you know, this is way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
I wouldn't say I'm very introverted, but I'm very
introverted.
But, you know, it's very hard to come on these platforms and be vulnerable, you know, because even like up until a few months ago, I didn't have a picture of myself on my Instagram. And, you know, like that's one thing Sierra told me. She's like, well, have you taken any headshots? Have you, you know, had a like branding shoot? And I was like, no. And so, you know, it's just because I'm just not comfortable in front of a camera or, you know, but it's like, you know, all my clients love me. We just be vibing.
And you're fucking cute.
We be hee-hee-ha-haing. So, you know, it's just, you know, really letting people get to know you and also getting to know other people. Because, again, in the beauty industry, it's not about what you know. It's about who you know.
Let them know. But that is true, though. And I think that that's something that I do tell a lot of, like, you know, my students who I mentor. It's just that you have to put yourself out there. And it's not saying like you need to tell all your business, you know. It's like, I get it. Like I feel like I don't really post my kids too often. So it's like there's certain parts of me where I keep to myself, but then there's parts of me where I want to share. So you have to know what that looks like, what you're comfortable with, but also get uncomfortable doing it, because it's like, yes, people are showing up to your page because they like your work. Yes, people are coming to your page because they want to book you. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, people want to see who you are. And I think that's
because
important.
You know, there have been, like, I've heard stories of people who go get serviced by people, and you know their work is great, but their vibe is like garbage,
girl. And you could be as talented as you think it may be, but if you don't have professionalism, if you don't have good character, and like, because I will never forget when I was working with a few artists in this agency, and I was just noticing, like, you could just tell some of the artists were just there because they needed to be there. It wasn't like they were giving like that bride, that energy, or like it was just very monotone. Like, and I'm like, girl, like I'm like, I'm having to like, you know, make sure everyone else is good, and you know, bring the energy back in the room, because you were over there sloughing.
Like, energy matters.
It
like,
really does.
Energy matters. And honestly, like, even outside of this, like, I feel like, as introverted as I am, I am like the biggest hype man.
Yeah, she is.
You know, like, you put me in a room and I'm gonna get the energy going.
Come on now.
You know, I don't even gotta be off the liquor. No. I really don't. So
I feel like that is important. I think that's also too a thing that I feel like since COVID and coming back into things, that people have like lost the art of wanting to give clients an experience. Even like going into a restaurant, I'll never forget. I had ended up going, and this is, mind you, I started working for myself once I moved to Vegas the second time. So that was back in 2021, because that's when things opened up, right, essentially. And so I remember going to a restaurant for the first time, and this was the first time. I'm a business owner, so when you're a business owner, it's kind of, I mean, any business owner is going to relate to what I'm about to say. So when you go to any business establishment, you are already in a business mindset. So when you walk in there, you're looking at, if I got approached right away, you're looking at things in a different angle. And I think that was the thing I was looking at. I was like, dang, like, walked into this restaurant, everybody just kind of like in the back, no one greeted us, we don't know where to go. This is the first restaurant we've gone to, yet alone it was one I wanted to try because it was a Mexican restaurant, and I was been like craving elote so bad. And so I get there where the experience was lacking. Like, it was just, I could tell, I was like, damn, like, people are just really on the clock right now, and that's it. Like, that's it. Like, girl, just on the clock, because you ain't working.
Yeah, that's true. And even if the food was bomb, it's like,
right, the service was lacking.
Yeah, you know, the vibe was off.
You trying to work? You are on the clock, but you not working, but you are expecting a tip. I mean, make sense to me, right? Because I love to tip. I'm a big tipper.
Okay,
I will definitely put the money there, but it's like, you gotta come on with it.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that I'm realizing that more businesses need to kind of just be a little bit more mindful. It's just giving that customer service.
Or even like, you know, beauty professionals. And again, it's like you said, you don't have to like tell people like, you know, your social security, right? But you know, like, you have to definitely bring the vibe that you want to be known with your business. Because I've been, you know, I have been victim of these, you know, people who have gone to go see, and you know, my energy, like, even like, I mean, obviously with you it's so different because we're longtime friends outside of this, but you know, even if I do go see somebody, I'm like, oh, you know, how, how have you been?
Right.
Like, how long have you been doing this? And, there have been some people that I go see and they're just like, it's like they're doing me a favor.
Right.
Like, babe, I'm paying you. Like, what do you mean?
Girl,
so,
that is good.
And then it just goes back to, like, upholding a certain level of customer service.
Yeah, and it is. And I think
because I would expect the same for the people that I go see.
Right. Right. No, and that's true. And I think that's something that I take a lot of pride in when it comes to, like, giving an experience, bringing a vibe. I feel like because I do content creation as well, it's like I'm always creating a vibe through my work. But I also, what you guys see is what I give. Like, if you book me, you'll know. Okay. So, hit that link. But yes, anything that you have coming up that you want to share or kind of like let people know, whether it's your audience, your clients, any deals you may be having coming up, projects that you may be working on?
I don't have anything I want to put out there yet, but I will be licensed soon, offering facials. So,
that's
I will be doing that soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just open to taking new clients. Okay. If you want, cartoons or whatever, you really want something intricate, I'm your girl.
No,
but if you want a French tip, babe, I got you. Like,
so we gonna do it all. We gonna do it all.
I got you. So
awesome. Yeah. So I think whenever it comes to, I guess when it comes to your days off, this is probably my last question. So when it comes to your days off, with the quotes, because it's never really a day off.
I don't manifest a day off ever, because that day I've been so busy. I don't even get a day off.
If you could give us a look as to what a day off would look like for you. Like if you could have it the day how you wanted it, everything flowed, what would that look like for you? Like I want to know, like, what is your go-to? Like, are you a person that likes to just like do some self-care? Do you want to go out?
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm a little bit of both. Okay. But my version of going out is, like hitting the stores.
Okay.
Like Marshall.
Oh yeah, we like
TJ Maxx.
Yes, we like
Ulta,
that.
Okay. Just doing a little bit of retail therapy. That's my favorite. But
Same.
I'm also a really big self-care girly at my core, even though, like, I'm sure in my day-to-day, sometimes I'm like, I'm just washing my face and moisturizing. Right. That's it. That's all you're going to get out of me.
Right.
Sometimes I forget my SPF, but, I would, my self-care day would definitely include, like, a massage, a facial, getting a pedicure,
yes, we need that. Okay.
Lounging.
I love that self-care I'm hearing a lot of on the podcast so far. I know I'm definitely a big self-care girly as well. I feel like if I'm not doing that, I typically am trying to do something in nature.
Okay.
So I feel like that's usually like my go-to. It's just something like disconnect or reconnect. It's just like I gotta get just, y'all, I'm gonna leave my phone over here for a little bit on do not disturb. I feel like a lot of my clients are like, damn, her phone is always on silent.
No. No,
because I think, and I feel like it's like that because my phone is constantly going off, and I think I'm always having. You need to be able
to pull yourself away from that, because again, like, it's one thing to uphold a certain level, but you can't always be at your phone, because you're gonna be missing out on things. Like if you're with your kids, if something's going on,
being present.
You need to. You also, at the end of the day, we're humans,
right?
We still have families. We still have things we want to do.
Yes.
We still like to pull away.
We still trying to take them days off.
Yeah, incorporate, like an hour off. So maybe 8. But,
right, girl. Like, we're gonna get what we can.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody should fault you for that. So
yeah, no, for sure. And so it's definitely one of those things. Like, I always try to be. That's a good question I like to ask everyone, because I like to kind of see what other people like to do.
Yeah, I do love a good walk, but on concrete.
Yeah, on concrete.
So yeah,
Well, we in Houston, y'all. So. We gotta catch it.
I'll do a little river walk, right? Discovery Green. That's my type of vibe. I do like cycling. I haven't done it in a long time, but I do love
Okay.
bicycling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like that reminds me of being kids.
Yeah.
Like always ride. I don't even know when the last time I rode a bike, honestly. Damn.
I used to be so heavy into cycling.
Yeah.
I would do critical mass here in Houston years ago. Girl, I would do like 20 miles in one night.
Wow.
Girl. Yeah.
Damn.
Had to pop 800 milligrams ibuprofen the next day.
Oh yeah.
Girl.
I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, I'm just lifting my hands.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel like this was good. I'm so glad that you got on here, babe. Like,
yeah.
I feel like this is what it's all about. Like, I want to give artists their flowers. I'm glad that we were able to work in your space.
I know.
And you guys are going to stay tuned on, you know, just what her little setup is at, like, looking like. But, it's doing something like this. It really is nice because it's like I'm sure you've like were thinking about how you all started, like, you know, your first, you know, set of like nail polishes that you got and like, you know, getting everything together.
Absolutely. Like, I feel like I often have these moments where I will walk in here. I mean, even this setup compared to like what I had in San Antonio is so different.
Oh, was it?
Yes. It's so different. Like, my clients would come in here and be like, oh my God. Like, the people that have come in here, they're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I love it. I love this. So, you know, like, I often feel like I practice those moments of gratitude where I'm like, wow, how lucky am I to have cultivated this space, to be able to use this space, of having the privilege of having clients.
And being a stay-at-home mom. Do you enjoy being a stay-at-home mom, actually? I wanted to ask
I feel like I do complain about it a lot because I will say that working at home is so much harder than going out to punch a clock. Yeah, it's so much harder. You know, because, I mean, one of the things that I struggled with when I was booked and busy, I work at home.
Right.
So I never leave my workspace sometimes, you know? And when you leave to go to a job, it's nice because you're leaving. Right. And you get to come back to your sanctuary,
yeah,
you
that's true. Because I ain't going to lie. Around this time when I was in Vegas dealing with what I was dealing with, I was like, all right, I'm going to work. Love y'all. See ya. And I will say, like, even, girl, just the drives would be nice.
Sometimes you just need a nice drive, you know? I do love being a stay-at-home mom, though. I feel like for me, I feel like it's very healing for me to be present for my kids, you know, to be there for them.
That's true.
Because, I mean, I know it sounds like I do a lot, which I am doing the most for them. But, I mean, I do it because I want to. Not because it's like an obligation or because I'm forced to, because you don't have to do those things. Right. But I do it because I want to, you know. And I'm not overbearing either. But, you know, like, I do enjoy being
I love that. Like, I love that, you know, you're able to do that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am very privileged. I have the luxury of doing it because I wish.
Do. I mean, I don't think I could be a stay-at-home mom, y'all. Like, I gotta be outside. Look,
that's cool. Like,
but I will say I did enjoy it when COVID was happening. Like, I feel like I just had serenity, so it was nice.
For me, I really hate to say it because it's actually really fucked up. But, you know, COVID for me was like the time of my life.
No, it was
even
for
though
me
people were like dying. Like,
no, I know, but
every day.
High five that it was a blessing for us because it was really hard out there. I'm sure for a lot.
I loved being at home.
Yeah,
not having to talk to anyone. Curbsiding my groceries.
Girl, I feel like I have not gone back. I feel like I'd be mad as hell when I got to go into the grocery store.
Girl, when I have to go, I'm like, oh, like I need to pencil this in. I need to schedule this. Like, what?
I feel like the curbside, girl, that's the only thing I'm doing.
What mood are my kids in? How much time do I have to run in there? You know, it's like a whole event to go into the store these days.
It literally is. But, you know, you did touch base on that part. Like, that was COVID was a big blessing, I think, for me as well. And so I think it is really nice just to kind of see what you're doing and what I know that you're going to be doing and getting your license. And I'm just excited to see where this journey goes for you.
Know, me too.
And thanks for coming on here. If you guys want to reach out to my girl, I'm going to let her give you the rundown on where you can find her.
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade, Xiaohongshu, aka Red Note.
Okay.
It's
I need to get on that. front.
Yes, you got to. Okay.
I guess I need to hop on the wave. I have heard about it though, but I feel like the TikTok frenzy and all that. I was like, okay, well, y'all figure that out. I'll come back later.
Yeah. No, but I'm all on there. I'm on Facebook too.
Okay.
So Vita Bella, VIITA_BELLA.
Okay. Yay. So yes, you guys go follow her. She has great work, and yes, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys